The vast expanse of the Kalahari Desert is punctured at its heart by a lush, tropical oasis. Its river arteries swell with the rains, attracting wildlife in abundance. Yet by the end of the dry season, 95% of the water has vanished. This place of flood and drought is called the Okavango Delta. What causes this extreme natural phenomenon? Kalahari means big thirst. It's the second biggest desert in the world, covering over 93,000 square kilometers. It blankets most of Botswana. It's also home to the largest game reserve in the world, and to a conundrum. It's a place where a staggering 30 million liters of water a day drain from the Okavango River through a labyrinth of lagoons and hidden channels that form the Okavango Delta. This island of green covers an area the size of Connecticut, over 15,000 square kilometers. It's the largest inland delta in the world. But it's also an anomaly. The waters from the mighty Okavango River never reach the sea. Instead, they're sucked into the sands of the Kalahari Desert, or evaporate into the dry atmosphere. How is it possible for this luxurious green haven to exist right in the heart of one of the largest deserts in the world? The Okavango Delta is a story of two extremes: flood and drought. During January and February, rain falling on the Angolan highlands to the north drains into the Okavango River. In 1 month, a massive surge of water races 1,200 kilometers downriver. Over the following 4 months, it floods the delta. Water now dominates the land. There is no getting away from it. Lions usually avoid getting wet. But here in the delta, they must wade through the swamps to patrol their territories and search for prey. So the lions of the Okavango have learned to overcome their deepest fears and teach their young to get wet from the word go. The delta is also home to the lechwe antelope. They're specialized for life in the swamps and graze in the rich water meadows. They prefer grasses that grow in shallow waters and so they advance and withdraw across the delta with the ebb and flow of the annual flood cycle. They can't outrun killers like hyenas or wild dogs on dry ground, so they stay in the knee-deep waters as a protection from predators. But sometimes, even the swamps aren't safe. The pride wades through the water, looking for prey. They're focused on making a kill. And when there's lions on the hunt, freeloaders are never far behind. A hyena has spotted the pride stalking through the swamps on grass. Hoping for an easy meal, it decides to follow. The lionesses focus on a group of lechwe. But in the water, the swamp-adapted deer are just too quick and agile to catch. This time, the lions leave empty-handed. Hunting in the watery swamps demands exceptional skill. When the floodwaters approach the delta in early May, they're funneled through a natural gateway called the Panhandle. Here, water dominates the landscape year-round. The Panhandle's permanent water channels are home to some well-known inhabitants. King of the Waterways is a title claimed by the hippo. Hippos are totally dependent on permanent water. Deep enough for them to completely submerge. Their sensitive skin loses water much more quickly than other mammals. So hippos must stay waterbound during the heat of the day to avoid dehydration and overheating. But hippos manage to travel all around the delta through a network of swampy labyrinths. By propelling their huge frames through the reeds and grasses, they create hippo highways. As they bulldoze new waterways, they allow the Panhandle's water and fish to spread from one area to the next. And these thousands of fish feed many mouths. Attracted by an easy catch, twice as many people live in this small area of Botswana than in the surrounding Kalahari Desert. The annual floods bring a bounty to the panhandle. All these women have to do is scoop them up. Or net them in their thousands. The men fish in the panhandle's waters all year round. They navigate its channels in traditional Mokoro canoes. And the local people have learned to adapt their whole way of life to the panhandle's swamps and waterways. Local Hambukushu women harvest the reeds that line the banks. They're dried and then delicately woven together to construct and repair houses. Homes are built on higher ground to keep clear of the floodwaters. Flash floods could devastate villages and sweep people away in an instant. But with a healthy respect for the river's fluctuating ferocity, local people have learned to thrive here. The Okavango's waters provide everything these people need to survive. And provides rich surroundings where wildlife can flourish. From May onwards, the floodwaters continue to push through the delta. As the floods move through the delta's arteries, it travels slowly at about 1 kilometer a day. It takes 4 months for the incoming floods to travel through the whole delta. The water struggles to penetrate the thick swamp vegetation. So the floodwater doesn't actually reach the southern part of the delta until August. But things used to be very different. Thousands of years ago, the delta's waters extended much further than today. They even reached as far as the Mahadi salt pans, 90 kilometers southeast of today's delta. They are one of the largest salt flats in the world, covering over 15,000 square kilometers. And during the dry season, almost nothing can survive here. But in extremely wet years, the delta's waters still sometimes get as far as the Buteti River, which reaches out to the edge of the pans. But it's been almost 2 decades since the delta's precious floodwaters reached the Mahadi area. It seems fated to remain dry forever. This year, the rains have been especially heavy in the north. There's a change in the air. Animals are drawn towards the parched Pateti riverbed. And all of a sudden, a trickle of water wets the dusty ground. The dry channel of the Pateti River is flooding at long last. Only about 2% of the Okavango's floodwaters have made it to the far end of the delta to fill this riverbed once again. Elephants have picked up the scent of the water several kilometers away. And after surviving the long dry season, they feel like celebrating. Fishermen who used to live by the Pateti River were forced to move or face starvation. Now they've returned. The arriving floodwaters quenched the thirst of the parched lands to the delta's south. Life finally returns to the areas around the Mahadi pans. But this reprieve will be short-lived. Soon this precious wet will disappear into the ground or evaporate in the face of the unrelenting sun. But for now, the flood continues. And in the heart of the delta, the wildlife is thriving. Although the desert is never far away, this verdant wetland offers a home for unlikely residents, right in the heart of the Kalahari. This clawless otter hunts for food in the delta's swamps. Crabs, frogs, fish, even snakes and water birds are on the menu. Its body is long and streamlined, propelled by strong hind feet. Its flattened tail is used as a rudder, making this otter a swift and formidable predator. Its clawless, tactile hands are ideal for probing and grasping. And its strong teeth can crush tough body armor. Even though the waters are murky, the otter's sensitive and searching hands can easily find crabs. Fish, though, are more difficult to catch. The otter must hunt them by sight rather than touch. This catfish's swift escape maneuvers make it a tough catch. But once caught, rough skin on the otter's hands means that the slippery fish can't get away. Having eaten his fill, the otter rolls in the long grass to dry his sodden coat. Everything about life in the delta revolves around the wet. Sheets of water cover much of the delta's plains at the height of the flood season. This vast, shallow lake is punctuated with literally millions of small islands. They are all shapes and sizes and rise just high enough above the surrounding reed beds and floodplains to support the growth of trees. And this is where many local animals seek refuge from the unrelenting waters. About 70% of these islands began as termite mounds. Trees and other plants colonize the soil, and gradually the mounds grow into islands, catching more and more deposits from the murky waters. This old termite mound may well have been the foundation of this island. Now abandoned by its original inhabitants, it is a welcome shelter for a group of banded mongooses. These gregarious animals live in large family groups of up to 70 members, and an abandoned termite mound makes an ideal den for the whole tribe. Mongooses search for food in small groups, digging in leaf litter or searching under tree bark for tasty morsels. Some of the band stumble upon a leopard tortoise. Mongooses are very inquisitive, and this tortoise is thoroughly investigated. It doesn't seem to be edible or willing to react to the mongoose's playful probing. So, eventually, they abandon their find. After suffering the indignity of being used as a marking post, the tortoise tentatively emerges from its shell and continues on its way. The band comes across a small herd of grazing impala. They decide to stay and forage alongside them. Mongooses often seek the company of grazing herds or even troops of baboons. More eyes on the lookout for potential predators make for more relaxed feeding. But they can never relax their guard for too long. Hungry killers lurk everywhere. An unwary moment, a quick pounce, and this mongoose has lost to the expert hunting skills of a leopard. But despite this bad luck, the life of the Delta mongooses is easy compared to those outcasts to the Badlands. Just a few kilometers away, the dry brush of the Kalahari takes over. Water quickly becomes a rare luxury. Despite the delta's seasonal ebb and flow, it's nearly always hot and dry here. Life is a constant struggle for survival against the dry heat. Summer temperatures can reach a blistering 45 degrees Celsius. Delta animals, like the water-reliant hippos, simply cannot endure these hot, arid conditions. And so savanna animals take their place. But people have also found ways to survive outside the delta. These are the Bushmen. The secret to their success in this dry, extreme desert is the passing on of key knowledge from generation to generation. This is done using elaborate dances, rituals, and stories. And so life-saving wisdom and experience is passed on to the next generation. Children learn by observing their elders. And the lessons start as early as possible. This village elder knows exactly how to handle this deadly scorpion. The child pays attention. His life could well depend on this knowledge someday. Poisonous insects and deadly animals are part of the Bushman's daily struggle for survival. Finding food is the other crucial lesson. Boys are taught to hunt by the men. Much of the skill is passed on through dramatic reenactments of hunting stories. These children are practicing throwing sticks as deadly weapons. Once they've mastered the art of aiming and throwing, they will graduate onto a range of other weapons. But there's no substitute for first-hand experience. Hunting is vital to the Bushmen's survival. they track on foot. Patience and stamina is what's needed to stalk prey. Bows and arrows are the weapons of choice. These weapons require exceptional hunting ability. The bushmen have to get within 25 meters of their victim to achieve a deadly hit. But their chances of a kill are increased by a secret weapon. Poison. They've been expert toxicologists for thousands of years and make a whole range of concoctions to tip their arrows. Once hit, it may take hours or even days for the poison to take effect. But death is inevitable. The Kalahari has been the Bushman's home for tens of thousands of years. And over this time, they have refined their extraordinary abilities to get the most from this drought-ridden land. They've learned to rely on the brief rainy season to bring just enough water to last the year. It takes knowledge, perseverance, and preparation to survive. They know exactly where to find food and water, often in the most unlikely places. The juicy fibers of the Beirut are an excellent source of water, and it can be used over several years. By replanting after use, it has time to regenerate, ready for next time. But animals also know about this underground water store. So, to avoid confrontation, the Bushmen protect known Beirut water sources with prickly acacia branches to stop them being raided. Wild summer melons are also a vital part of the Bushman diet. The seeds are roasted and crushed to make meal, and the flesh is boiled to produce a drink. But when all other water sources have been exhausted, the ever-resourceful Bushmen have a last reserve. During the brief rainy season, they collect water and store it underground in the blown-out shells of ostrich eggs. The holes are sealed using a leaf from the Kalahari Taibosh bush. This plant is known for its antifungal and antioxidant properties. And it's possible that these properties keep the stored water fresh for an incredible 6 months. The Bushmen are completely at home in the desert and know all its secrets and natural larders. They spend their days gathering wild plants and roots from the land. Roots, beans, and truffles are roasted on the fire and shared by everyone. But at night, there's time to socialize, exchange hunting stories, and practice age-old rituals. The men string dried insect cocoons filled with seeds together to make dancing rattles. These are used to provide a dance beat and are the earliest form of a strung rattle used in human culture. It's their rich history and deep understanding of the land that has enabled the Bushmen's continued survival here, despite the challenges posed by the forbidding Kalahari Desert. In late August, the Delta's heart still has ample water, but the Kalahari dry season is in full swing. Water becomes scarce. Like the Bushmen, the animals here have had to learn to cope with this dusty landscape's severe lack of water. The life-giving rains won't arrive until at least mid-October. As the land gets increasingly hot and dusty, the drought claims its first victims. The young, weak, and elderly are most at risk. But their deaths provide a steady supply of food for the region's scavengers. This elephant's carcass has already attracted a horde of vultures and hyenas. These scavengers play a pivotal role in the perpetual cycle of life and death. They clear up carcasses as soon as they appear. Nothing goes to waste. But by August, the parched land can no longer support grazers. So the herds of buffalo and antelope head towards better grazing within the Delta's lush boundaries. But predators are extremely territorial and are forced to remain to stand their ground. The lion prides in these marginal areas are struggling to find enough food. And this is one of the last remaining buffalo herds in the area. So the hunters constantly stalk them. Working together, they sneak as close to their prey as possible. They aren't designed to run their prey down over long distances, so they have to get within 30 meters of their target. Buffalo are formidable foes. Weighing in at up to 900 kilos. They're equipped with a huge set of horns and could make short work of these mighty cats. One of the lionesses spots a straggler and makes her move. The young calf is caught unawares. But the buffalo aren't about to give up on a fellow herd member. Sensing a second chance, the lions attack again. This time, they stand their ground and are rewarded. But whilst prey is fast running out in the desert, it's still in plentiful supply for the Delta's predators. By September, the dry season has a tight grip on the Kalahari. Just a few miles away, the Delta's channels and waterholes still hold water. And as more and more animals flock here, the local hunters are spoiled for choice with available prey. One of these predators is the serval cat. These close relatives of lions are well-adapted hunters. Exceptional hearing helps them to home in on prey. Eyes closed, they listen for the slightest giveaway sounds of their prey. They also have proportionally the longest legs in the cat world. This means they can sneak easily through tall grass and reach impressive speeds of up to 80 kilometers per hour. And its super long neck allows it to see over high vegetation. But most incredible of all, servals can perform astounding leaps from a standing start. Up to 5 meters high and 6 meters across, landing precisely on target with enough force to stun or even kill their prey on impact. With a success rate of over 50%, servals are one of the most efficient killers amongst all cats. And rodents aren't the only food on their menu. Their spectacular leaps are ideal for plucking birds straight out of the air. But a catch doesn't guarantee a meal. A second serval has witnessed the hunter's success and is intent on snatching a free meal. But this freeloader has bitten off more than he can chew. Eventually, he's forced to admit defeat. Finally, the winner can get on with the difficult task of plucking and eating his prey. By October, it's the late dry season. Every creature in the surrounding Kalahari Desert has either died, left, or remains in suffering. The long wait for the rains continues. It's been 8 long months since any water fell here. And even then, it only amounted to 180 millimeters. Even the delta's water supplies are running low. The lush green turns to brown, and the swamps recede. Most of the rich waters of the Okavango have now disappeared into the ground. Hippos have nowhere left to hide. Desperate times call for desperate measures. Hyenas even attempt unlikely kills. The shrinking pools become fierce battlegrounds. The last of the waters will soon evaporate into the atmosphere, in the face of the unrelenting sun. But at long last, the scent of rain fills the air as storms begin to build. A savior has arrived just in time for many animals. And once more, the Okavango's extraordinary cycle of wet and dry can begin again. Sustaining life in the delta's wetlands and supporting the surrounding Kalahari for yet another year. The waxing and waning of the Okavango Delta's water levels, its alternating floods and droughts, are all part of a natural equilibrium. The delta is a living heart in the Kalahari Desert. Its labyrinths and channels function like an organism's circulatory system, bringing life to all those who are drawn here. The perpetual rotation of wet and dry beats out a natural rhythm of life and death.